Welcome to this episode of Bengali Abroad with myself, Naveed Mahboob, and my co-presenters,
me, Ifti Ahmed.
And me, Rajdas.
This episode is all about Bengalis and art.
We check out the art festival that is Boishakhi Mela.
We're going to chat to a TV mogul and joke around with the star comedian Eshaan Akbar.
First, Naveed and I visit a music studio in West London to meet Raja Kashif and Rubaiyat Jahan. Raja is of Pakistani heritage and Rubaiyat is Bengali. They are songwriters and singers. And now they have started working on animation. They are currently working on a Bengali kids show Boka Poka, an educational cartoon teaching science through music.
Amra Groho Upogroho Shouromondole Shura.
Knock knock. Hi, good to see you.
Hello, good to see
Hey
you.
Raju,
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hello. Naveed and I have been asked to voice some characters in the show. They need voice actors for a song about the solar system.
Thank you, Shabaike.
So that was amazing, and what a great studio. I just want to ask you something. How did I'm sure many people have asked you this, but how did the two of you meet?
The first time I actually offered her to do a show, she refused.
Yeah.
The money was less. So she said, no, I'm getting more money somewhere else. And
The budget was low.
budget was too low.
Yeah.
So I booked her as an artist. But then afterwards, I'd done a project which I asked her to become, as a Bengali artist, I needed her to be present in the interview. So she supported me on that project. And that's it. From there on, we started doing projects together. I asked her to do 2 of my songs. From 2 songs, it just carried on and on and on.
Normally, the both of you, that normally we see, because I'm from Bangladesh, a lot of Bangladeshi artists, they tend to, gravitate towards Bollywood, but we really haven't seen the reverse direction, which is, and you guys are the classic example. You are
Me, definitely.
Yeah. So in your case, because you're of Pakistani origin, but you are completely focusing on Bangla music. So how'd that come about?
Credit to her, because when I asked her to do an Urdu song of mine, she turned around and said, have you heard some of my Bangla songs? So she started introducing Bangla music to me, be it the folk aspect, be it the semi-classical. I never knew that people like Ustad Ghulam Ali Sahab has sung in Bangla, a full album. Not many people know that. So when she started educating me, then I started respecting the Bangladeshi music and the talented artists that have given a lot of good music in Pakistani industry and in the Bollywood industry.
So, you guys seems like everything you do is pretty much outside the box. So anything in the works?
Brings us to this recent project that you've just done the voice for, the animation which is educational based.
Yep.
The animation project, it's something from our music, we need to teach the youngsters. We can't only be teaching romantic or sad songs or dance orientated songs. It has to be love and fun for kids to learn.
Project we are doing, we should highlight that as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The
Boka Poka.
There you go.
We have a song ready yet.
Not yet, but...
But do you already have you already made something up right
can you
now?
do me a favor?
I can
Just
do it.
before we start,
Yeah.
can you become that character that you are and introduce us
Yeah.
to the
Okay.
audience?
আমি হলাম সূর্য, আমি হলাম তারা, কিন্তু আমার সাথে দুজন তারকা রয়েছেন, তারা হলেন রাজা এবং রুবাইয়াত।
Thank you.
আসো না তুমি আর, আসো না তুমি আর।
হায় রাত কেটে যায়, হায় রাত কেটে যায়,
তোমারি
ভাবনায়
আসো না
তুমি আর।
বাহ 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 বাহ। আমরা দুজন তারকাকে দেখলাম এবং যদি আমি সূর্য হই, এরা দুজন গ্রহ আমাকে প্রদক্ষিণ করছে। Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, Boka Poka is for the internet and YouTube, but a lot of Bengali content in the UK is produced by satellite TV companies. One of the more recent channel is Ion TV, which is based in East London.
Hi guys, today I'm here at Ion TV with the founder, Mr. Enam Ali. How you doing, Bhai?
Yeah, I'm fine, very well,
Good?
thank you. Yeah, really good.
Good to
Really
see you
Yeah,
again.
thank you so much.
So, tell us a bit about Ion TV.
Well, I think it's very important for a lot of voiceless people from our community need to be told. Our audience is looking for, of course, Bangladesh, what's going on as well, one generation, of course, their interest is quite high. So we do every hour news, which is fantastic, and it's good quality news we produce every hour. And the second thing we want to do for relating to the curry industry, for many things, it's like a chef, how they do it, and how the concept is based on. And also doing lots of young generation we want to do. But obviously, the Ion is very young, and still we are reading the audience.
How young is Ion?
It's only 3 months old,
Okay.
and we are reading their audience mindset, what actually they're looking for. So one is our generation we want to feed in, and the second young generation to feed in. So, and plus we've got English and Bengali language. I've got a fantastic team, a very creative team.
Yeah, I've seen your creative
Yeah,
team.
very-
They're
yeah.
working very hard
Working
and
very
late
hard.
hours. So how did you go about recruiting them and finding the best
I think
creative-
again our community, these are the people that got so much idea, so much thought, and I hope I can provide them that kind of facility. They can come up with some idea and making a program. The content they're delivering is, some of the documentary is really amazing. Some music video they play sometime is really amazing.
I want to talk to you a bit about the Curry Awards. Now, I know every time you hear the Curry Awards, it brings a smile to your face.
Yeah.
I heard that it's been going on for 14 years.
Yeah.
It's one of the top events of the year. Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, I think we feel very proud of 14th year running British Curry Award, and it's almost 1,800 people joining together, and those are the people represent not only the curry houses, politicians, then house, from the Lord, Baroness, and then the Hollywood to Bollywood.
Yeah.
When I see those people coming for this event, it makes me feel very proud.
And I've seen that you attract a lot of high-profile guests to the awards. And what was the highest profile guest?
Well, I think
we
almost everybody from, all kind of people, celebrity, we invite who love curry basically, and come and enjoy us, look what we've
That's
done.
about 90% of Britain, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we invite, the actor, actresses, the newsreader, all kind of people, politicians, prime ministers, and everyone. And seems to be everyone really come and support us, including Her Majesty the Queen, I must say that. When I started, until 14th year running, she hasn't forgotten one single year she missed out. Always she gives us a beautiful letter of blessing of British Curry Award. That's something make me feel very proud.
Well, that makes us feel proud, British Bangladeshi person like yourself running such a big award and the Queen herself writing to you.
When I see David Cameron giving the award to one of my fellow restaurateurs, it makes me feel really proud. When I seen Theresa May was going to give the award to one of my first generation people who has done very well, it makes me feel proud. 428 million people watched last year by around the world, and it's really phenomenal.
Great. I want you, if you don't mind, give us a tour of this wonderful new studio. I'd like to have a look around and check out some of your new gadgets.
Of course, it will be my pleasure.
Thank
Come
you
through,
very
yeah,
much.
come on, have a look. Of course you can.
Anamali showed Ifti the TV station facilities and the amazing team of creative working there, and even gave him a go on their green screen. If this comedy timing could do with some work. So, who better than comedian Eshan Akbar to give some tips? We went to see him at Backyard Comedy Club.
Okay, we've got one fine gentleman over here. Ishan, how are you, my friend?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you again.
You too, yeah.
Because you were in Dhaka doing a comedy show at my club.
I was. This was about, what, 2 years ago maybe?
I know you've grown, literally.
Okay.
The good things are going well?
Things are going well, yeah. I do comedy full time now.
I know, last time you were a banker.
One of those fake bankers, actually.
Okay.
So I was writing speeches for the CEO of a bank.
Okay.
So I worked in a bank,
That's
but
a
not
great
really.
setup. Your parents are happy, he's a banker.
Yeah.
You're happy, you're actually writing.
Writing, exactly.
Well, you must have disappointed them now because he's left banking.
Well,
I know.
Basically, when I told my dad I'm doing comedy full time, his main concern was that I'd never get married.
Oh, well, you should have done what I did. Gotten married first, then become a comedian.
Yeah.
Like you did, right?
Yeah, well, my wife made sure before I went to do the acting thing, tie the knot, then you get in. Yeah.
So I remember you pinged me, you said you were coming to Dhaka and you're a banker, you want to do comedy. And in 2 years now, you're like a full-time comedian, you're a pro. But it's very uncommon, like Desis to become comedians, more so Bengalis, So how did things start in your case?
I think performance was always kind of in my family. My first comedy performance was probably about 6 years ago, where I actually did a dance to a Bangla song, a comedy Bangla song.
Way.
Amar doyal baba kola khaba gas lagaya khao, that one.
And that was a serious, or did that turn out to be comedy?
It was a comedy dance, basically, that I
gotcha.
did. So I did that dance, and that was the first kind of iteration of me doing any kind of performance that was funny. And then 4 years ago, I just started doing comedy as a hobby, wanting to do something after having quite a serious job during the day. And within a year, I got signed by a very big agent in the UK. And within a year after that, I was so busy with work, it just made sense for me to do comedy full time.
Good job. I mean, it's kind of funny that a common friend of ours, and he was in Dhaka, and he said, you know, you should check this guy out. He's doing really well. And I said, dude, this guy was at my comedy club.
Yeah.
I can take some credit there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is, those kind of opportunities really help. And as a Bangladeshi, you know, half Bangladeshi, half Pakistani guy who did quite a serious job, to do something like comedy, as you said, is very unorthodox. But it helps when someone in Dhaka is doing comedy as well, so that my mum has a reference point to say, oh, if they're doing it in Dhaka, it must be good to do.
And you should say that guy was an engineer.
Yeah, that, exactly.
So that's a bit of an endorsement.
Yeah, I did. I used that.
I'll send you the bill.
Yeah, please do. So I think that's what's important, especially when you're from the kind of backgrounds we are.
Sure.
If people in our countries are doing it, then actually it gives people a sense of, oh, actually this might be something that we need to be doing. We need to be exploring the culture and the arts and doing comedy and things like that.
And talking about this, so you do that, don't you? In your performances, you bring in the cultural side and your roots and your heritage, and you bring that into the comedy script.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think it's important. Number one, I think it's really important. You know, a lot of people in the UK, especially and abroad, probably don't know too much about Bangladeshis beyond them either being doctors or owning restaurants, and that's kind of the cliche you have. So I think there's something important about talking about that. But also, I'm really proud of my heritage. And also, my heritage is really funny. Like when you're Bengali, when you've got a crazy Bengali mum and a crazy Pakistani dad in your house, you're just going from one slap to the next most of the time. And that's something that people in the UK and abroad may not always know about.
Yeah, and that's also a very interesting combination. Like you're half Pakistani, you're half Bangladeshi, and there's got to be a lot of material there, given the history of the two countries, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I talk about the time when my dad went to Bangladesh for the first time in 1988, and my aunt sent 30 military personnel to shoot him on site. And you know, when I talk to my dad about my own love life, he's like, "You've got it easier than me." So, and you're absolutely right. That history is actually, it was difficult, and I think comedy is one of those things that you can take something that's a really difficult part of our story and make it funny.
Absolutely.
And that helps bridges those gaps. And I've had Pakistanis come to my show who've, you know, I had one Pakistani guy met a Bengali girl at one of my shows, and they're getting married next year. So I'm glad my audiences can do it. I can't.
But you know what? We're talking about comedy, you know. But you know, this guy's an actor, you know. I mean, do you think we can? A lot of times, we comedians face this thing that, oh, well, comedy is easy. You know, don't you get this thing? Oh, come and do a gig for 30 minutes, just 30 minutes.
Let me just make it clear. I don't say comedy is easy.
Okay.
It's really hard.
I think you're one of the rare actors, I think, because most actors think they can do comedy.
Yeah, that's if we get 3 months of rehearsal script and then we get into a character, but that's fine. But
okay.
I'm quite happy to give it a shot.
Okay.
Hey, that's shall we put him up?
The attitude.
All right. So do you have? But first of all, stand-up comedy is not about telling jokes, right? That's number one.
So that's me. That's my rehearsal from last.
There you go. There you go. So that's tip number one. It's not about telling jokes.
Okay.
It's about telling your story.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Exactly.
You can exaggerate. You have that poetic license.
Comedy is also about revealing things late. So give people the illusion that you're going to give them something, almost like doing a magic trick. You take them down one path and then suddenly you, at the last minute, do a quick turn. And that's when the best comedy comes, how you deliver that quick turn and what you're saying.
You have to be in the moment. You acknowledge any unexpected situation rather than normally as humans we try to avoid it.
Yeah.
So be in the moment. That's what they love in stand-up comedy, that you're in the moment. All right? I think that's enough, right?
Yeah, let's get him into the moment.
Let's
get me into the moment.
All right, man.
Let's do this.
Go break a leg.
Let's do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your headline comedian, Ifti Ahmed.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Ifti Ahmed. I'm actually a British Asian actor. But you're probably thinking, I've not seen anything, mate. What's going on there? That's because of Sanjeev Bhaskar. He's got a monopoly with BBC and ITV, so until he retires, we've got no chance. What does me in acting though, you get these you know, casting calls and they say, we're looking for a tall, dark and handsome actor who needs to be like a boy next door, a charismatic person. And then below that there's a thing called appearance. The appearance is meant to tell you what kind of a person they're looking for, whether they're black, white or, you know, Asian. Often you'll see the appearance section says any. Now what does any mean, right? So they thought about this and they give you references to pictures at the bottom which you can click and find out what any means. So there's a nice role I've seen and I really like it. I found on my agent and I said, yeah, I want to go for this. It says any, that gives me a shot. Let's click on the images below to see what they're referencing to. The first image I click is a blonde white man. The second image I click is a white man without hair. The third image I click is a white man without beard. The fourth image I click, it's a white man with a moustache, and I'm thinking, right, the fifth one's got to be different. The fifth image I click, it's a white man with a tan. I thought I was the only British Bangladeshi actor. Who is this third person? You know, is he my competition? Who is he? I need to, you know, get him out of the game, you know, who is it? So I click on it, and it's a picture of Sanjeev Bhaskar. That's me, guys. Thanks for listening. Cheers.
Good job, good job. No, you stand there. You stay there. We want to give you a little bit of a feedback, right?
Oh, yeah, give some feedback.
Yeah, this is free lessons for you.
Thank you, yes.
I think it was great.
Yeah, it was really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I remember first time, this is your first time, right?
First time stand up.
Oh my God, you're way, way ahead, right? And you know, one of the lessons you gave is that your punchline must have the element of surprise. Yeah. That was brilliant, where you were clicking the 4 pictures and then 5th picture.
The white man on the top.
The white man with it. That was brilliant. I think that was the perfect manifestation. Yeah, there you go. That was the surprise element.
The other thing that you did really well was you did a callback. I don't know if you know you did a callback, but at the top of the set you mentioned Sanjeev Bhaskar.
Yeah, I did.
And at the end of the set,
I got that off you.
Did you? There you go. But at the end of the set, you mentioned Sanjeev Bhaskar as well. That was very impressive. Should we talk about the bad stuff?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
You should have said the bad stuff first.
That's okay.
I wanted to encourage you. When you came on, I didn't really understand the Bollywood dance thing that you were doing. You kind of came on and all that stuff. And for me, the other one was the microphone was in front of you, but you never used it.
Right.
Okay. It was directly in front of you, but you kind of was talking away from the microphone. You didn't, but yeah, that was the only thing I really had.
And to add to the microphone thing, usually what comics do, and it shows more confidence, is that you take the microphone off the stand, right? You do your set, and towards the end, you put it back in. That's like a protocol for the next comic. But that's okay. I've seen a lot of comics still do that, but if you do that, it makes a lot of difference. And
you're obviously a very confident performer. You look good on stage. You have a nice manner about you.
Thank you.
And you did 2 really quite important comedy techniques. So I'm really impressed.
Yeah, great. And another thing now, here you made some references to certain personalities. I was a bit lost just because I'm not from the UK, but you may also, no, for now it's okay. You know, you had these prepared, but sometimes you need to know your audience, what will be relatable to them. Sure. So if you are doing a comedy at a certain place, you may want to be aware of what their demographics is. For now, it's okay. You know, I could guess these are certain personalities. But in general, you know, you want to gauge your audience. You want to make sure that they relate to what you're saying. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Cool. I think that's great. I think it's done well.
Just a few minutes away from the Comedy Club, one of the biggest Bengali festival in the UK takes place. Boishakhi Mela. It's the largest Bengali festival outside of South Asia. It has Bengali singers, dancers, and great food. This year, I am taking part in the Bengali poetry reading. It really does seem Bengali artists are doing well in the UK. Ifti meets up with the Rukhsana Begum, art activist, to find out what their future holds.
Hi Rukhsana, thanks for meeting me. So you're really interested in the arts, and some would say you're an arts activist. So tell us a bit about the landscape and what's coming forward.
Okay, so I've been working in the arts since 1998, and within that time I've seen quite a significant change in terms of activism, artist involvement, the type of artists that we now have, and also confidence in the community, particularly the British Asian community and young people. So what I would say, when I first started, we had first generation doing lots of work around just sort of the traditional art forms. Not to say there weren't other people doing the more edgy work in terms of a British Asian identity, but that was more of a British Asian identity rather than a British Bengali identity, and that was in the 90s, and hence you had Asian Dub Foundation, you had all the Joy Bangla, how can I forget them? But what has happened is, as a community, when the second generation, the third generation, we've become much more confident as a community, which means we want to voice our opinions, we want to express what we think, and also we're kind of saying we're here to stay.
There's this whole host of people coming through and going into different arts, which is fantastic, especially for the British Bangladeshi community, because there's this whole stereotype about, you know, stay into something that they're comfortable with, and arts is always seen as an extra hobby or something like that. So it sounds like from you that this is actually a very mainstream opportunity.
I think we have the pressures like other communities that you should go into a job that pays well. So you are pushed as a young person to go into a professional career, whether it's as an accountant, doctor, you name it, the usual careers. However, what people want is a bit more, and a lot of people, you know, when you need to find meaning in your life, you tend to turn to the arts.
I can see you're very passionate about it, and I was told that beforehand before I came to meet you, but I can now experience it for myself, and that's absolutely great. So just tell me, how's the future looking in this scene?
So I'm a person that is a glass full, half full, and so for me, I'm going to give a positive, and I'm going to say the future is bright. I think definitely I get very excited with the work and the conversations I have with artists, current artists, whether they're 12-year-olds or whether they're 55-year-olds, because art is my passion, and I want to share that to everybody, and I want to instill that passion simply because it's a very democratic space, and that democratic space can be anybody's, and if it's for anybody, you can give your opinion and it's valid. I think there will be more young people, more people going into the arts, and in fact I'm seeing people are having a career break and actually coming into the arts. So I think
it's looking good then.
The future's bright.
Good. Well, with there's passionate people like you, I'm sure there will be a bright future.
That's very kind.
Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you.
So, there you go. The future for Bengali artists in the UK is a bright one. We will find out more amazing Bengalis on the next episode of Bengali Abroad.